I'm Terry Shine, a volunteer for HandUp Congo, an NGO based in Australia that provides tools and training in response to requests to help Congolese communities in the areas of education, health, and well-being, primarily in the Equator province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Today, I'm talking about the Congo with Ryan Carter, a fellow Aussie who has long experience working in the DRC. Ryan is a talented photographer and visual storyteller who has devoted enormous effort and energy to improving the lives of people in the Congo, especially with working with the NGO Focus Congo. G'day, Ryan, and welcome back to Australia.
Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction and for having me here and taking the time to have a chat. I'm really excited about our opportunities.
Yeah, we've been following you on Instagram and following your wonderful photos and a bit of your journey. So it's really nice to see you in person. So,
thank you.
And in front of the camera rather than behind. So it's a very different position, I think, for you.
So. It is. I am always a bit more awkward in front of the camera than behind it. I definitely am more comfortable on the other side.
Exactly. So if it's okay with you, can we start with how you came to be involved in the DRC, how you got there? Would you mind telling us a bit of your
story? Of course. So I, of course, grew up in Australia, left Australia when I was younger to do sort of volunteer international sort of missions work and humanitarian work. And when I was in actually Sweden, I met a young Congolese guy called Puppy Orion, and he's the founder of Focus Congo, the organization I now work with. So we just connected. He's a videographer, and me being a photographer, of course, we had a lot in common. We just started talking, and I was hearing about his country, about Congo, about the DRC. He's from the Kivu region. And yeah, we just sort of really connected, and he's like, I'm going soon. Do you want to come along? And of course, for me as a photographer, I'm like, that sounds amazing.
Oh my God, let's go. Very
yeah.
Rapid.
Exactly. I was very excited. I hadn't even been to Africa before at that stage. So my first trip to Congo was with Puppy. It was my first time in Africa, and yeah, off we went, and we went to the Kivu region. So Focus Congo is based initially in Bukavu, in South Kivu, but also they have a team in Goma as well. So they're spread right throughout that region now, and spreading more nationally throughout the DRC as well. So, but it's primarily based in Kivu. Yeah, had an amazing experience, and I'm sure anyone who's been to Congo, once you've experienced it, it really captures your heart. There's something about it. It's a pretty amazing place. And I had that experience myself, didn't know what to expect when I went there. Of course, news reports, everything you read and hear about it is generally quite negative and not full of hope. But my personal experience was just so different to that. A country full of amazing people. I was so warmly welcomed, so well looked after. I'd never felt unsafe, and just had an amazing experience. And then as a photographer and a visual storyteller, just the stories that are there, the people, the sites, the villages, just everything. It's just so photographic. It's just so beautiful, and just be able to spend time capturing and hearing people's stories, and being able to tell their stories in a beautiful way was just an amazing experience.
Very privileged in a lot of ways. Can you share some of your photos with us now about those initial impressions you had? Do you have any?
Yeah, of course. I'll bring some up now, and we can have a look, and I can tell you a little bit about some of the pictures.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so it's just some of my images, I guess, from Congo. It's always hard to share when people ask, what's my favorite picture, or what do you if I have a couple of images to share from Congo, but I always have some favorites. Like this one here is one of my favorites.
Superb.
It's this young girl, and she was hiding from me, playing with me, laughing, and just trying to see what I was doing as this foreigner in her place. And then this is one of the frames of the many that, of course, I didn't capture when she's hiding and pulling the curtain across. But this one little one with the eye peeking out, it just turned out perfectly. And you can I just love that the joy you can see on her face, even though you can only see such a small amount of her face. It's something inquisitive, it's joy, it's fun, it's playful. And that was kind of my experience of Congo, and it's kind of summed up in this girl's expression for me. It was this fun. It's there's textures, there's color, there's joy, there's just that experience. And I think for me, this is one of those pictures that really sums up my experience of Congo, and it's one of the ones I just really love.
Yeah, and also trusting. isn't it?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, you as a foreigner in there, and allowing you to have that sort of access is pretty phenomenal. Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
And for me, so much of that, it comes down to the trust and being able to work with people. So going with Focus Congo,
Mm,
I was going to these places with local staff who live there. This is their life. This is their hometown. They know people, they know areas, they know where to go and who to talk to. And like, this is a family member of one of the Focus Congo staff's house. And
right.
so we were there. So of course we're welcomed in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're not, of course, I'm always going to be a stranger. I'm always going to be a foreigner, but I'm welcomed in as that foreigner, as a guest.
I was gonna say, can you show us some photos of what the countryside looks like? A lot of
Yeah,
our
of course. It's such a fertile country. So there's Lake Kivu there, which kind of separates the North and South Kivu regions. It's just this beautiful big lake. It goes into sort of Rwanda as well, but it's so green, so lush, so beautiful. These are the kind of the scenes. It's very idyllic, I guess. You know, you're driving through. It's like it's a paradise.
yeah,
I really
uh,
can't think of another way to describe it.
and is it a productive lake? Is that used for
It
fishing and yes?
It is definitely a lot of fishing is used through the lake, and then the water is used for agriculture and used for everything really.
It's
It's kind of a life source to that area.
absolutely
Um,
stunning.
so depending where you are, so in Goma and stuff as well, and in Bukavu, you'll get the people come down, they'll get their water for their daily use and stuff will come out of the lake for whatever they're using it for. It's just a very beautiful green lush part of the world, which
Yeah.
is just quite spectacular.
Oh,
Um, and
show us.
of course, you get away from the lake. It gives you a bit of the view with the banana palms, the mountains in the background, and yeah, just the redness of the soil, the richness of the soil. It's very fertile land, and it's very beautiful. Once you get out of town and you start, seeing the rural areas, it's got a lot of beauty for sure.
Very much so. Hand Up Congo does a lot of work in helping with food security in the
Mhm.
Bay Area. I assume that's the same sort of issues that are facing where you've been.
Definitely, definitely. There's a lot of that, and it just recently, of course, we've all heard about the volcano in
Yeah.
Goma just
Yeah.
last week, or when it Saturday ago,
Hmm.
and so of course there's a lot of food insecurity and water as well. Clean water is a big struggle there with that at the moment. So Focus Congo is definitely doing a lot to help with that, provide food, clean water kits, stuff like that to help through these situations. But even that being said, other areas like Uvira and stuff like that in the Kivu region, they've had major flooding
Hmm.
recently. And so the lake down there is actually rising. And so a lot of areas of the town have been destroyed and flooded. So there's a huge displacement of people, which of course that creates sickness. There's a lot of health issues, and then a lack of food, a lack of clean water, that kind of thing. So we definitely are working a lot in those areas.
Hmm.
So this picture here, this is actually the city of Bukavu. So you can kind of see it's just right on the lake, right on the coast. As you see it go around, it's just very spectacular view, very beautiful city,
Hmm.
um, right on the lake there. Once again, this is once you get away from the lake and a bit further sort of inland. This is one of the small villages there, and you can kind of see what the villages look like. It's,
Hmm.
it's beautiful. It's rural. There's not a lot there. It's quite basic, but at the same time, it is a very beautiful part of the world.
It looks like they have a communication tower. Does that mean that there is access to internet and good phone systems or?
Yeah, so here there's still cell phone range. It does come and go a little bit, but it's definitely available.
Hmm.
So that is a good thing. But this is also only probably I don't know, an hour's drive from
Okay.
Bukavu, so it's not so far away. It's still
Yes.
not deep
Yes.
away from the bigger cities. So there still is a reach of communications and
Hmm.
stuff there for sure.
Excellent.
Um, and then here's kind of just a scenic as we're leaving, driving through just the farmlands, the grasslands, the hills.
Beautiful.
Once again, it's such fertile land, which is
Hmm.
a, a huge blessing, I guess, to the people there, to be able to grow so much of their own fruit and
Yeah.
vegetables and stuff
Yes.
like that is key to survival in Congo at the moment for
Hmm.
sure. So it's a big blessing.
Hmm. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's kind of a bit of, mostly South Kivu region. That's where I've spent the majority of my time in and around these areas.
Yes.
Um, and looking forward to spreading out further, of course, as well. But this is kind of where I've been. This is on Lake Kivu as we're going between Bukavu and Goma. and you know that it's just such a beautiful scene, isn't it, with the wooden boat and the green in the background, the
Yeah,
blues of the water.
just the
It's just
intensity
very,
of color.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely.
idyllic, isn't it? It makes you want to be there, I guess, and
Sure
that's one of
do.
the beauties for me of
Yeah,
Congo.
yeah. And it's very hot and humid. Describe that for us. What's the climate like, and what would we
Yeah,
expect
it's very
there?
very tropical, I guess you'd call it. It's right by the equator, of
Mm.
course, so the temperature doesn't vary so much, um, but it's warm. Yeah,
It's hot.
I don't know.
Humid.
It's quite humid as well.
Yeah.
It's actually not as humid as I expected.
Ah,
That
yeah,
also varies a bit depending on the time of year, but
yeah.
um, yeah, it's for me a comfortable place to be. Of course, growing up in Australia, I
Mm,
like heat as well, so the heat doesn't really bother me so much. So
yes.
I do like being warm. So it was I've always enjoyed it there. Nice
And
to
how
get
do you
around
how
and be
how
working
do
in.
you actually get there?
How do I get there? That's a
Where do you fly
good
into?
question.
What tell us the basics. Yeah.
So the basic route for us, at least into the Kivu region,
Mm,
is to fly into Rwanda. So we fly into Kigali, and then from there we take a bus or a taxi, or you can fly again from there. From Rwanda is an internal flight across Rwanda to the border, and
mhm.
then you cross the border there, because there's very limited flights in and out of the DRC, especially that sort of region.
Yes.
Um, so that's kind of the easiest route in. Um, but thankfully, most of my trips actually there have been originated from Europe, which does shorten the travel time a little bit, because from Australia it's quite lengthy. I
It's
know
quite a
I've looked
haul, isn't
before.
it?
It is, and
Very
you know,
much.
60-70 hour sort of total travel time with layovers, because nothing flies direct. So you're here and then 10 hours waiting here before you get on the next flight to here to wait for another 10 hours for
Wow.
connecting flights and stuff. So it is a long way,
Mm.
um, but worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
So
God.
through Rwanda is generally our passage in.
Okay. And then around the country by car, or obviously by boat, or
Yeah. It depends where we're going. So around the regions that we're in, of course, it's by car,
mm,
bus sometimes, but generally by car. And then to get between cities in Kivu, like between Goma and Bukavu, the two major centers, it's by boat across the lake. So you can take a big overnight boat, or you can take sort of a faster speed boat, which takes maybe 3 hours to get from
right.
Bukavu to Goma.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Wow. Did you do that?
yeah, I did. An amazing experience. It's very beautiful when you get. There's a lot of fishing boats out, and it stops at some of these little islands along the way, and they're quite touristy islands. There's some little resorts on some of them, and just very beautiful. Um, so it's quite a great experience. And of course, like we said, it's warm, so you can sit out in the back of the boat and just go. So it's kind of like a speedboat taxi type thing. So it seats maybe 50 people,
Mhm.
um, and yeah, you just can enjoy the trip between cities.
Sounds like heaven.
It's a wonderful experience, definitely, especially when we're there, we're flat out. So it's a lot of going here, going there, working, getting stories, taking photos, getting video, doing all that stuff. So to have that few hours when we can sit on the boat and just
Just
kind of
absorb it
rest.
all. Yeah.
Exactly, and really take it in and process what you're
Yeah.
seeing and stuff is very special. So that's a great thing.
It's so sad for those of us because of COVID that we're all in lockdown, that we can't travel anywhere. So it's really wonderful to be able to see your photos and have a bit of a cathartic experience here.
Thank you. Yeah, for
Now
sure.
share
Well,
some
here's
more.
plenty more. I
Okay.
selected a few out which you could go through and look at, but this is a kind of a timely one. This is
Oh,
Goma, and so
ah,
that's the volcano there in the background. You can
yes,
kind of see up here, see the smoke coming
yes.
out of the volcano. So it's one of the most active volcanoes in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Um, this picture was actually taken by my friend Puppy. He was there about a month before the volcano erupted. So this was about a month ago,
Hmm.
and you can see how close it is in proximity to the city. And it's a city of about 2 million people, and the
Mm.
volcano is right there. So it is quite intense, the situation even now, with a lot of earthquakes ongoing. There's fears of more eruptions, of course, and then there's sections of the town or the city or villages around
That have been,
between the volcano that have been destroyed,
yeah.
homeless. There's a lot of stories of children who have been separated from their parents while they were fleeing from from the situation. So I know Focus Congo has taken on about 36 or so children that they found where they're trying to help them reconnect with their family, and sort of provide for them in the meantime and stuff. So it is a serious situation, and we're definitely working how we can to get aid there to help the most at need. This is the night the volcano erupted here. So this is taken by one of our team members there in Goma. You can kind of see the intensity of it, and kind of nothing you can do but escape. So
And yeah, get out, wouldn't you? Yes.
exactly. So it was very, of course, an intense night, and for us as a team trying to work out what's actually going and where all our team members are and how we can actually be helping, telling stories from what's there to show, through international media, even the realities of the situation. So we had kind of a lot going on through that. I know Puppy especially was very, very busy connecting with our team and making sure everyone was safe throughout that time as well.
Yes.
You can kind of see here the next morning some of the destruction, and you can see in the foreground these little plastic chairs just from the heat just melted away and stuff. So yeah, so that's the current situation that we're responding to at the moment as a team, is of course the volcano situation.
So the basics of food and water, protection for
food,
children.
water, shelter, protection for children, reconnecting families. So those are the main immediate needs, and then of course moving forwards there's going to be relocating of people, rebuilding homes. Schools were destroyed as well, and we do a lot with education in the area as well, so it's looking how we can help with that and be a part of that, of course, as well.
In addition to supporting things like HandUp Congo and Focus Congo, ways Australians can help in a meaningful way. What can we do? I think
it is hard, I guess, because it is such an isolated place. We're so disconnected from it here in Australia that it's without having an organization like a local one like HandUp Congo that is based here, can be quite difficult. There's all the big organizations are there, the UN's there, of course, and Save the Children, and all those organizations are there, which can always, are doing great work and great programs as well. But for me, everyone I talk to when I get that question, it is find an organization like a HandUp Congo, like a Focus Congo. And I love these organizations in the size of what they are and what they do, and that they are so keen and so using local resources. Like our Focus Congo team is made up primarily of local people who are from Goma, from Bukavu. This is their life. They live there. They understand the situation. They live with people. They know exactly what's going on. And so we can filter the resources through because they know where those resources are going to be best used, where the greatest need is, and how to actually implement programs and projects that are going to make a difference and are going to really positively impact the people. And with that as well, the overheads are a lot lower because we're using our local staff who they already live there. They're there. We're not providing housing for foreigners in an expensive facility. We're using our local staff who also just have a passion for their people, to see Congo grow, to see Congo reach its full potential, I guess. And so that's always an exciting thing to be able to give into these sort of organizations. So I would definitely recommend people wanting to be engaged to get involved. Exactly. Like with HandUp Congo, with Focus Congo, find these organizations, look online. There's a lot of stuff. You can go through Instagram, you can go through social media, you can find a lot of organizations that are doing a lot of great work. Connect with them and find out how you can be involved, because really every little bit does help. And it's such a blessing for these organizations to have just the support of people all over the world.
Is there anything else you think we need to know about the DRC in our short little chat this morning? Is there?
For me, I guess one of the things that we've started just recently, actually it was a couple of years ago, we started a project called Kitoko Oyo. Kitoko Oyo in Lingala, which is a native language there in Congo, means this beauty. So Puppy and I started this project ourselves to tell beauty and share stories of hope from Congo. Because I think the world's media works off of crisis and tries to get attention around that stuff. Once the crisis is gone, or once it's no longer of interest, we don't hear about it anymore. So we really wanted to change that narrative and tell stories of hope. So we're showing amazing people, whether they're mums, they can be parents, they can be entrepreneurs, they can be politicians, they can be church members, but trying to show stories of hope from Congo. We want people to be able to see Congo as a place that has potential, a place there is hope for the future of Congo. We don't want only stories of despair and stories of pain and stories of, sadness, and because that's not the reality that we know Congo is. And I know HandUp Congo is the same. There's so much hope there, and to be able to show that. So I guess, for people to be able to see that investing in Congo is not investing in a hopeless cause. Congo is not a hopeless place. Congo is a place full of beauty, full of amazing people, and the potential of Congo is huge. So to be able to show that and share some of these pictures of what a hero these teachers are, where they have very, very limited resources, and they go out of their way, they go to these schools, they teach for very little to create a better future for the kids of Congo. That's a hero in my book, and these are the stories we want to show of people doing these amazing things and being such heroes to the local population.
Such a positive difference.
Exactly. And it's so important to do that. And this is what we want people to see, is that, there is normal life in Congo. It's not just stories of rape. It's not just stories of the volcano. There's normal life. There's kids going to school. There's people moving forwards through life and what they're doing. And that they don't, I guess we have one of our ambassadors for Kitoko Oyo, his name's Marula. He's an entrepreneur. He started a clean charcoal business in Bukavu. So he takes waste from the streets. He goes around with his team and collects waste from schools and from the streets and stuff, and they turn it into clean charcoal. And his key phrase is how does he say it? Every problem is an opportunity for innovation. And that Congo doesn't need more aid. Congo needs people to believe in them and to invest into the local Congolese people. And there's so many great ideas, like people like Marula doing this. He was voted one of the 30 most influential young people in the world working on climate change stuff through, I can't remember what the organization was, but he went to the Paris Peace Forum and got this award and stuff. And he's this little local Congolese guy from Bukavu doing world-changing things. And these are the sort of people that we want to encourage, and we want to show that, we don't need to solve Congo's problems. We need to help them and be there to support them as they work. They have the ability to do that themselves. So that's something I really like to get across. Here's actually Marula. I'll show him here with this is the little
charcoal. Yeah.
That's the charcoal. So they make these little briquettes out of organic waste that they collect from the streets and from schools and from businesses.
Yeah.
And then it's more efficient, it's cheaper, and it's more environmentally friendly than cutting down trees.
Yes, exactly. Wow.
So it's a very, very special guy, a very important, powerful guy who can really make a change to his local community, and through that, throughout Congo and the world as well, through what he's doing. So it's so I guess that's a long-winded answer to your question there, Terry.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So
they're just really trying to support Congolese people,
and supporting them in that way is so important. Well, Ryan, thank you so very much. Let me just, if I can get back to this one. Well, can you stop sharing your screen?
Oh, yes, I can. Sorry. There we go.
I want to thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts and your stunning photos and evocative images with us today. At the end of this video, I'll share some of the links to your website, to Focus Congo.
Focus Congo.
And also, I think you're on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Where else? Okay, I will add those, because it really is, your images are so evocative. They're so intimate. And hopefully people will understand a bit more about the Congo. So thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
No worries, Terry. Thank you so much for having me. And any of the watchers, if they want to reach out to me on social media as well, I'm always keen to engage with people and share. And I just encourage people to get in touch with me, get in touch with the HandUp Congo team or Focus Congo team. If you want to be involved in Congo in any way, definitely reach out to us and help us, and we can help you to get involved.
Thank you.